Delta Dragonoid. Drago's first evolution took place in one of the most legendary battles of Season 1. Dan, along with Marucho and Runo, faced off against a formidable trio, Julio, Chen-Li, and Claus. Fighting alongside Tigrera and Preyas, the Brawlers made a desperate move. They activated Tigrera's ability to sacrifice allies on the field to funnel all their power into Drago.
You two at my side, we cannot fail!
Combined power level to 1,780 Gs. Power surge detected.
Man, I've never seen anything like this before!
Yeah!
Drago, you've evolved!
So this is what my new body feels like. Virus Delta Dragonoid!
Energy surged through him. His power spiked to 1,700 Gs and wouldn't stop. From that stone emerged a completely different Drago. His main horn now pointed forward, his facial horns became smaller, and a silver crest appeared on his chest. Drago's base power increased from 340 Gs to 450 Gs. Ultimate Dragonoid. When the Brawlers passed the trials of the Ancient Warriors, Drago was the only one who hadn't evolved yet. Apolloneer explained the condition. To evolve, Dan and Drago had to defeat all their friends in battle. One by one, they faced the Bakugan of Marucho, Runo, Julie, and Shun and defeated every single one. After the victory over Shun and Storm Skyrus, Drago evolved.
All right! You did it, Drago! Yeah!
You're right! We won!
Dan, are you okay? Back up!
Thank you, Dan. The Ultimate Dragonoid! It feels good.
In this form, Drago's power grew from 450 Gs to 550 Gs. Visually, Ultimate Dragonoid became far more massive and menacing than Delta Dragonoid. Infinity Dragonoid. Infinity Dragonoid is Drago's third evolution and one of the most significant moments in the anime. In the final battle against Naga, Drago unleashed a massive attack, but Wyvern intentionally stepped into its path. She did this sacrifice on purpose, to pass the Infinity Core to Drago and keep it out of Naga's hands.
Here, Drago! The Infinity Core is now yours!
And I will do everything in my power to protect it, Wyvern. How dare you, Drago! Enough, Naga! Never in a million years will I ever forgive you for what you've done!
In that instant, Drago's power soared to 1,000 Gs. A green diamond appeared on his chest, granting him access to all 6 attributes simultaneously. In this form, Drago ended Naga and his minions once and for all, using the Infinity Core and the power of all attributes. He destroyed the evil threatening both worlds. The Silent Core held by Naga merged with Drago, uniting both cores into the perfect core. After the victory, Drago bid farewell to the Brawlers and departed for New Vestroia, becoming the center of the new world. Neo Dragonoid. When Drago united the 6 worlds to create New Vestroia, the Vexos discovered it. They captured the Bakugan, leaving Drago helpless to watch their suffering. He called upon the Ancient Warriors, who helped him regain a physical body, though at a steep price. This new form was significantly weaker than Infinity Dragonoid. Drago traveled to Earth to find Dan and fight back. In his first battle in this form against Volt and Link, he showed a worthy fight despite his limited power.
Bakugan, brawl! Bakugan, stand! What is that? Fly
Dragon!
Them both!
Drago! How does it feel to be back in the saddle?
Great, Dan. I've missed you, partner.
Looking good, buddy!
Feeling good.
Neo Dragonoid is a visual evolution, but technically a step back in raw power. His base strength dropped to 400 Gs, the lowest since the very first Dragonoid. However, he retained access to the power of the perfect core. In this form, Drago also fought alongside his Bakugan Traps, Scorpion. We've already covered Bakugan Traps in a separate video, and the link will be in the description below. Notably, this is the first form where Drago's ball began to spin upon opening. Vexos Dragonoid. Vexos Dragonoid is the result of cruel experimentation. After Dan lost the battle to Spectra and lost Drago, the Vexos leader used Drago against his own partner.
Okay, you want Drago? Bakugan Traps! Stand, Iris Drago! Oh no! That's Drago? What's wrong? Don't you recognize your old friend Drago?
Spectra used a forbidden ability on Drago, stripping him of his free will and forcing him to tap into the perfect core's power beyond its limits. Drago's body began to literally disintegrate. It was one of the darkest moments of the season. Liberation only came through Apollonier. His Dragon Protea ability absorbed the dark energy and returned Drago to his Neo Dragonoid form, breaking Spectra's control. Maxus Dragonoid. Maxus Dragonoid consists of 6 mechanical Bakugan created by Clay Furman. Mira, while pretending to be with the Vexos, intentionally lost them to Dan. In the finale of the first half of New Vestroia, Spectra unleashed his own set to form Maxus Helios. Dan and Drago had no choice. Drago was strictly against using mechanical Bakugan as it went against his nature, but against Maxus Helios and its 3700 Gs, there was no other way.
I know it's hard. I get that you don't like mechanical Bakugan, but this is the only way we can free New Vestroia.
You're right, Dan. We have to do it.
Ultimate formation! Ultimate... How's it feel, man?
Not bad.
Neither Maxus Dragonoid nor Maxus Helios could finish the fight. Everyone was forced to evacuate the base, resulting in a draw. Cross Dragonoid. Professor Clay invented a weapon designed to wipe out all Bakugan, but its activation required the attribute energies of all 6 ancient warriors. Zenoheld challenged him to a battle to seize these energies by force. When the ancient warriors began to lose, they managed to escape the battlefield. Together they made a critical decision to entrust their powers to the resistance.
It is the 6 ancient warriors.
Drago, you and your friends must listen carefully. We were defeated in battle by King Zenoheld.
What he desired from us was to take our 6 attribute energies.
He needed them to power the Bakugan termination system, a device he created to destroy all Bakugan.
To keep them free from Zenoheld's clutches, we are entrusting you with our 6 attribute energies.
Remember, brawlers, you and your Bakugan are our last hope against Zenoheld. Only you can stop him and his weapon of mass Bakugan destruction.
Apollonier passed his Pyrus attribute energy to Drago, triggering an evolution into Cross Dragonoid. The most striking visual change is immediately obvious. For the first time, Drago's arms were completely separated from his wings. While all previous forms merged them in some way, here Drago finally gained truly independent limbs. His power rose to 700 Gs. Cross Dragonoid also retained the ability to combine with mechanical traps to form Maxus Cross Dragonoid. Helix Dragonoid. The Resistance was also unable to withstand the Vexos, and each member lost the attribute energies granted by the Ancient Warriors. When Zenoheld activated the Bakugan termination system, Drago made a daring decision. He carried the system into the planet's atmosphere to absorb its energy and save all Bakugan.
For
seconds left!
Just a little bit further! Almost! Almost!
The BT system has activated.
I'm sorry, everyone!
It looks like you've evolved again.
Yes, it would appear that I have.
You look like you've been pumping iron!
Yeah, you're looking super buff.
Evolved again, I see.
Helix Dragonoid is Drago's first truly humanoid form. His new body resembles a Pioneer, sleek, human-like, and with a more refined appearance compared to all of his previous forms. In this form, his battle power reaches 900 Gs. Lumino Dragonoid. When Linus and Neo Zip-Zam arrived on Earth, they ran into the Gundalian agents. The Gundalians challenged them to a battle where Linus and Neo Zip-Zam fought alongside Shun and Hawktor. In that fight, they were losing to Ren and Jesse, and Linus lost his Bakugan who carried the element inside him. The Gundalians took Neo Zip-Zam with them, not knowing that inside him was hidden the element that King Baradius was hunting for. If Baradius could get his hands on and control the element, he would be able to learn about the Sacred Orb, an energy capable of controlling all existing Bakugan. Neo Zip-Zam went into locked mode to protect what he carried inside. Sid took him from Ren, wanting to make a name for himself, and brought him out into the field against Dan, and that's when something nobody expected happened.
I can finally beat Drago. Huh? What's happening?
Neo, what's happening?
It is our fate that we finally meet.
Our fate?
Yes. Until now, it has been my responsibility to protect the element. But the time has come for me to pass it on to you. The people of Mythia are counting on you.
Wait!
My mission here is over. Good luck, Drago. Good luck,
Lumino Dragonoid. Lumino Dragonoid!
Drago absorbed the element and evolved into Lumino Dragonoid, and his power shot up to 1000 G. After passing the element, Neo Zip-Zam passed away, but not before appearing in Linus' dream to say one final goodbye to his partner. Blitz Dragonoid. The element inside Drago was a piece of the Sacred Orb, the source of all Bakugan DNA. During the war, the orb's defender, Dragonoid Colossus, emerged. After Lumino Drago proved his strength against him, Colossus forced Drago to evolve, passing on the power needed to protect the Sacred Orb in his stead.
Then it's time that I give you what you've earned.
It looks like I've evolved again.
From here forward, you will be known as Pyrus Blitz Dragonoid.
That's a bit of a mouthful. Is it okay if I just call you Drago?
That's Mr. Drago to you.
Yeah.
Blitz Dragonoid is technically Drago's shortest-lived evolution in terms of screen time in the anime. Titanium Dragonoid. The battle between Darok and Drago was destiny, and to prevent these two Bakugan from destroying the universe, Code Eve, the true life force of the Sacred Orb, transported them to a separate dimension where no bystanders would be caught in the crossfire. This battle put an end to the war between Gundalia and Mythia, with Dan and Drago emerging as the ultimate victors.
Congratulations, gentlemen. You were victorious in your battle against Barodius and Darak. Now, as promised, I will bestow my powers onto you. Use them wisely. May I present Titanium Dragonoid?
You just evolved again!
I know! I feel incredible!
However, this evolution brought a serious problem. The sheer power triggered a mutation from Code Eve, allowing Magmail and Dragonoid to manipulate their minds and power, causing Dan and Drago to fall out of sync. Their control over this power was shattered, and this instability birthed the Mechtogan Zinthon and Zinthon Titan through chaotic energy. Titanium Dragonoid was an evolution that brought not only immense strength, but also dire consequences that the Brawlers had to deal with throughout the first half of the Mectanium Surge. Mercury Dragonoid. Mercury Dragonoid is not a separate evolution, but a Baku mutation with Darkest Infinity Helios, where both multiplied their strengths to face a common threat.
We could use Drago's powers to help combine he and another Bakugan together, then release their collective energy. If we picked a Bakugan whose power matched Drago's, then together they'd be unstoppable. But they need to be insane.
Mutate more! Are you ready to do this with me, Helios?
You bet your life.
I'm glad we could overcome our past differences and come together to destroy our true common enemy, Magmail.
Together, you and I will be truly invincible, my friend.
Fusion Dragonoid. This evolution occurred naturally through the power of the Gate and Key during the final battle against Magmail and Dragonoid.
Take me down!
Whoa! Fusion Dragonoid! Check it out! This is cool!
In this form, Drago moved with effortless confidence, dodging Dragonoid's attacks and finishing the fight with one decisive blow. Fusion Dragonoid was the first Baku Sky Raider to appear in the anime. His Mechtogan Destroyer, Dragonoid Destroyer, was his primary weapon against the Nonet Bakugan and the Mectavius Destroyer. His power in this form was 1200 Gs. Aeroblitz. It all began when Reptak's partner, Guns, was kidnapped by Mectavius Destroyer. Left alone and desperate, Reptak eventually encountered the mysterious masked Wise Man. Something about him, his throwing style, his hair, his habits, painfully reminded Reptak of Guns. To find the truth, Reptak joined Dan and Drago, leading to the Aeroblitz Bakugan fusion form.
Here we go, Reptak! I'm ready, Drago! Bakugan, unite!
It can't be!
They combined! How interesting.
And that wraps up Drago's evolution story from a humble Dragonoid at 400 Gs all the way to Fusion Dragonoid at 1200 Gs. Through victories, defeats, sacrifices, and moments where it felt like it was all over. Subscribe to the channel, hit that like button, and click on this video if you haven't watched our video about all of Shun's Bakugan yet.